Today we're going to be exploring a book that changed how we look at history, entertainment, and our heroes and villains. Wait, no, I mean this one, Orientalism. Today, we're diving into one of the most influential works of the 20th century, Edward Said's Orientalism. Published in 1978, this book fundamentally changed how we understand the relationship between the West and the East, challenging long-held perceptions and biases. But what exactly is Orientalism, and why does it matter so much? Edward Said was a Palestinian-American scholar, born in Jerusalem in 1935. His experience as a Palestinian in exile heavily influenced his work, leading him to explore how the West has historically viewed and represented the East. In Orientalism, Said defines the term as a Western style of thought that frames Eastern societies as exotic, backward, and uncivilized, a way of thinking that justified Western domination. To grasp the significance of Said's work, we need to understand its historical context. The roots of Orientalism can be traced back to the late 18th century, a time when European powers like Britain and France began colonizing vast regions of Asia and Africa. During this period, Western scholars, writers, and artists started producing works that depicted the East as fundamentally different from and inferior to the West. These representations weren't just innocent misunderstandings. They were political tools used to justify colonial rule. Let's discuss the concept of the other. Who is the other in post-colonial theory? What does this other signify? Edward Said explores the concept of the other, where the West constructs a contrasting image of the Orient. He begins with the premise that every culture's evolution requires the presence of a contrasting and inherently compromised other. In simple terms, the West creates a distorted image of the Orient and considers it as the other, in contrast to the ideal West. In fact, you can see it even today. Any person going to study in the USA, or any Western country for that matter, from the eastern part of the world, is often treated as an outsider. This treatment reinforces the idea that they are from the East, and thus the other. This phenomenon has been happening for a long time, and is what has been highlighted by Said. Consequently, Europe, in its quest to define itself, perceives the Middle East and the Orient as its ultimate other. This other is a tool in defining Western identity in opposition to the East. Drawing on the ideas of French philosopher Michel Foucault, Said also explores the relationship between knowledge and power. He argues that the knowledge the West produced about the East wasn't neutral, it was a form of power. Western scholars and artists created vast amounts of literature, art, and scholarship that often reinforced stereotypes and justified colonialism. This wasn't just academic. It had real-world consequences, shaping policies and attitudes toward the East. When Orientalism was published in 1978, it sparked a heated debate. Some praised Said for exposing the deep-seated prejudices in Western scholarship, while others criticized him for being too harsh or for oversimplifying complex historical relationships. Despite the controversy, Said's work has had a lasting impact, especially in fields like post-colonial studies and cultural criticism. It has encouraged scholars to rethink how they engage with non-Western cultures, pushing for a more nuanced and respectful approach. In conclusion, Edward Said's Orientalism challenges us to rethink how the West has historically perceived the East. It exposes the power dynamics embedded in cultural representations and invites us to question the narratives we've inherited. As we continue to navigate an increasingly globalized world, the lessons from Orientalism remain profoundly relevant, reminding us of the importance of approaching cultural differences with sensitivity and awareness.